Today, I'm sitting down with Mary Newsome, who's one of our $10 million agent alumni. And she is one of these women that has built an incredible business, not just talked about it. We're going to break down exactly how she got there, what she did to get there, and what she's currently doing now. So, Mary, thank you so much for jumping on and doing this.
Absolutely, I'm happy to be here.
All right, so let's get into it. So, tell me, what did you close in 2025 last year, and then what are you pacing to do in 2026?
Absolutely, my stats are written on a large sticky note in my office so I can look at them all the time. So, 25-year review, we closed $30,255,488, which means we served 39 families, which 12 were from our own neighborhood from farming. We had 18 buyers, 15 sellers, and I only had one referral, which is really funny because this year, like, my referral business has, like, really taken off, which was one of my goals and I'm excited for. So, head into 2026. Yeah, we had an amazing growth last year. In 2024, I believe we closed like 12 million. So we have this wild growth. So to be realistic, I was like, maybe it was just a really great year. I don't know. Maybe the company is, maybe my business has grown that much. But we made a goal of 25 million because we thought that seems very reasonable. If we get to 30, 40, we'll be so excited. But we want to have a realistic goal. And 25 was like, yep, we feel great about that.
Yeah. Okay, so was 2024 the first year you hit 10 million in production, or what was that first year?
No, I hit 2024, 2023. Now, really in 2022, I was like 9 million. I was like just a
Right,
hair
almost
below.
there.
And then in 2023, I actually jumped and was like 12 or 14 million. And then I fell back that next year. And really that fallback when you look back is the year that I added Marlo in. And
Mhm.
so it took a while to get that jive and that groove, but, like, we were planting so much seed out there that, like, it bloomed so fast. So, like, that's a big thing I tell people, like, if things step back 1 year, like, just keep pushing forward because you just don't know if that's the springboard for you to just fly to the next level.
Okay, this reminds me, will you tell me, you always say the most beautiful thing, and I always botch it, and I'm like, "Mary says this," so you know what I'm talking about with the
I know
seeds
what
and
you're
the
talking about.
yeah,
So the harvest cannot be prevented.
the harvest cannot be
That it?
prevented.
Is that the one?
Yes, yes.
That's one of my favorite things because it truly is. It's biblical, but it's also like, I mean, you can go out into nature. I mean, and it happens. Like, but the harvest cannot be prevented. If you are out there sowing, watering, seeding, constantly working on your work, the harvest cannot be prevented. It will come.
Yes, and I just it's so beautiful the way that you say that, and what do you mind sharing too, like, because I wanna kinda get into, like, who you are as a person because hitting these levels of production requires so much identity work, and I also, if you don't mind, the prayer that you do in the morning to just because we talk about getting ourselves into state, and yours is it's very beautiful.
So, yes. So every morning, so it's sort of one of just those things that Um, every morning it's written on my mirror. I'm a big, like, it's funny because I'm a very big extrovert, but I do have introvert time that's very important to me. But my husband's a big introvert. So if you go to our mirrors, it's total reflections of our personality. Mine is written all over with affirmations and everything. But every morning I put on the armor of God in order to feel equipped and ready, I think, for the world that we work in. And the responses, like, you have no idea, you're dealing with the public, what the responses may be. I just equip myself with putting on the armor of God. So I put on my belt of truth, my breastplate of righteousness, my feet are strapped in the sandals of his peace, my helmet of salvation, my shield of faith, and my sword of the Spirit. And then when I really was going through this journey and growing, it the this Psalms always came back out to me, and it's used so many times, but it meant so much to me. So, like, the Lord is my shepherd; I shall
Mhm.
not lack. So, really, I've sort of put it where it is. So it gets
Yeah,
that
that's, like, one of my I say that one all the time.
right.
That
So,
one's
like,
very
I
powerful.
shall not lack anything. He'll lead me to the green pastures. Well, a sheep. green pastures, that's where everything is fed. He will lead me to the quiet waters. A sheep to be able to drink water quietly means they're safe. He will restore my soul. And that's all I say. And I say it every morning because it just reminds me that, like, I really have a leader before me that has gone before me. So just trust that. Don't borrow the trouble of the world and don't ride the emotional roller coaster of real estate because it will be up and down, up and down. And it
Yeah.
took me probably 3 years to learn that.
And stop being surprised when you get hit with certain things. Like, that's the other thing too, it's like,
Person like terminates. I mean, it used to put me in the bed. Then you realize, like, that's out of your control. But my husband used to be like, "Don't talk to her the week that she would list a home, because if it didn't sell immediately, I began to internalize that that was something wrong with me." And that took a long
ooh, okay,
time.
talk to me about how you got through that.
I think I got through that through just constant work of understanding that my value and who I am is not tied to my production number. That is not. My production number is a replica of consistency and hard work in the favor of God. It is nothing more. I cannot create that. I cannot make people. And I'll tell you, my older sister helped me realize this probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And she's like, if you stop doing this hamster wheel that you're doing, because it's like, I should post, I should do this, I should do everything the world's telling you, you're exhausted and you're in
Mhm.
this hamster wheel. So she was like, look for things that you can autopilot and that you're happy with, and then you're gonna have to pray about it and let it go, and the people who need you will just call you.
Yeah.
She's like, that does not mean don't do your part. Do your part consistently, but they will come and stop carrying that trouble." So
Yeah.
it just it takes a while.
It does, and it's like you handle it so beautifully, and it's like somebody doing your amount of production. I mean, 30 million plus in volume is incredible. You know, you're talking high. That's even like like a small. It's not even top 1%. It's like a little percent of the 1%. So the fact that you've made it there, if you don't mind, can we rewind the tape to before you hit 10 million in production and like where did you come from? Like, how did you hit it for the? Because you're interesting, right? When we met, you were already at 10 million, right?
Yeah,
And
I
so
was
just
right
kind of
there at just like the tippy top of it, and
yeah, and it's like Marlo had come in, and so but rewind us even further back from that. So it's just tell me like who you were, where you came from, what got you into real estate, and like what was the thing that the kind of that forced the change into getting you into that 10 million of production?
perfect. Okay, so by trade, I am a school teacher. So I taught for 4 years. And then I wanted to do a little bit something more outside of the classroom. So I got my master's in school administration. So then I was a school principal for several years. Um, I the public is really hard to deal with. I was normally parsed out by 8 a.m. in the car lot. And people are very upset in the car lot a lot. And I want to be like, I'm just the messenger. You just have to be here on time. It's just a life skill. But anyway, needless to say, I was able to supplement my income with a cheesy direct sales. I'll just be honest. It was very cheesy. I'm not even going to tell you what it was. So little bit by little bit that I continued because it opened up this entrepreneur because I thought as an educator, I've never had a business course. I've never had anything. The most I've taken is like math in the elementary classroom, art in the elementary classroom, music in the elementary classroom. I've never had these finance. So I never thought of myself that I could go to the business world. I felt that I was not equipped for that because I was a school teacher. So as I played in my direct sell business, I began to understand that I can sell and I can sell pretty easily, but I'm selling a really cheap product. And so I've got to sell a lot of those cheap products. So over time, that business closed. I did some consulting work in education, but of course, my husband is a 16-year veteran mortgage lender. So we've talked about more.
Amazing. Shout out to Blaine. Movement Mortgage, she's amazing.
mortgages forever. And COVID hit, and I had to be mom because we all know rates dropped. And Blaine had, I mean, work was crazy for him.
Mhm.
Everyone and their mother was refinancing. And he would have to get up at 2 a.m. in the morning to be able to get on the software before West Coast people woke up and then it would crash.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, with that, he was like, "Why don't you get your real estate license?" And I truly was like, "I that doesn't sound fun to me." And he's like, "Well, we'll buy investment properties and you can run those." And I was like, "Okay, well, that sounds a little bit more flexible. Like, at least I'm not going back to a 9 to 5." So anyway, I did an online superior lesson. I mean, I remember chapter 1 thinking, I have never heard these words in my entire life. What do any of these mean? What is an encroachment? What is
Do you
any of
remember,
this? No,
do you remember riparian water rights?
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
what
or what is land? Just like see, you're like, oh gosh. So
meets and
needless,
bounds description?
yes, awful. So, anyway, took it, really did not know what was going for it. But I have to say, since 2018, I had really been praying for vision. I did not know what I was supposed to do next in life, but I knew I was not going back to education. Love it, but just did not want to go back to that time constraint. So before I got out of school, I had a friend that had called and they needed to buy a home. Perfect. Great. I shot Jura asking me, but let's go. Um, so we quickly, and he was in the auctioneer business, so it was helpful because he was a friend because he knew a little bit, so he was able. But truly, the receptionist at the brokerage I was at before helped me write my first offer. Like, I mean, you don't know what you're doing and you're terrified, but you must walk in that and figure out who can help you,
Mary,
who
I
can
remember
direct
I
you.
remember filling out my first contract. It took me 6 hours, and
God,
I was
right?
like,
How
"I
long?
hope I did this right."
And I was
Anyway,
like, who's going to give me this much responsibility? But needless to say, we ended up filled it out. We got everything. And Marissa just sort of took off after that. It now there were periods where yes, it was like slow and there were periods, but during those slow things, I just kept watering. So for example, I decided I went to one workshop on farming and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back and do everything this woman said to do. Cause she said, if you do it and stay consistent, you will outweigh everyone else. They will all quit. She was like, "No, I tell you, you'll ruffle feathers when you start to farm places, and you'll start to hear a lot from other realtors. They'll start sending, copying a lot
mhm,
what you're doing, but just stay consistent. They'll fall off in a couple months if you just keep normal." So I started a newsletter, very much like we teach you in the $10 million training, but I could not afford to print it and mail it. I had to choose what I wanted so I could print them. I didn't have enough emails of people in the neighborhood to be able to email it. So I printed about 1,000 copies, would hand fold them, and I delivered them all myself because I didn't have anything else to do. So of course I got really crafty with how do you do that and not put things in people's mailboxes. So I had all these crafty ways. But every month I would deliver I played a trivia in my neighborhood and no one played the trivia. So I would make up people who won because who's going to know that person doesn't live here? So like my college roommate would win like a trivia. I did yard of the month and no one nominated anyone for yard of the month. So we didn't tell anyone that. We acted like millions of people were nominated.
yes,
And we put the sign on one of the roads that had a lot of exposure. So like I didn't want to
yes,
put it in a cul-de-sac. I wanted to put it
no.
on the main where people can see. So those things like that just slowly begin to create this buzz about who we were in our neighborhood. Um, and they were right. We stayed consistent and we did that until we could hire a marketing company to take over. Now that was one of my autopilots I could do. So I could autopilot it off and hire a marketing company. So that's what we
Yeah.
did. And until today, pretty much everyone still gets something. Everybody that we know in our neighborhood, and then a lot of homes that we would like to get to know you, they get our mail every month,
Well, and
nonstop.
I would like to say just from you are the reigning you and Marlo, the reigning queens of neighborhood farming.
and she's
Nobody
here now.
nobody does it better than the 2
Well
of you.
well, thank you. We may just
And I'm
yeah.
here. Welcome.
"Hello, Marlo. Do you wanna make a cameo?"
Quick
She's
cameo.
like, "No."
Too.
The other okay, so the cool thing, just a side note on Mary and Marlo, they operate as a team. Marlo recently had her 3rd baby girl, and so it's cool. Working moms. Mary has 2 kids, just doing incredible amounts of production and just remind me too, on the farming, Mary, how many houses are in your neighborhood?
So there's, roughly around 1,200.
Okay, and so that's my question to you. So, like, you were a teacher, you got into some direct sales, husbands in lending, and you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna get my real estate license." You know, you always had the faith is a very and belief in yourself too. It's like you have always had that from what I can observe. And then when you think about like, so your number one lead generation source right now is farming. And so just can we highlight because you started farming, which is interesting. Most agents don't do that, but you knew. So like how did you know you wanted to farm? And then just kind of touch on what you we can go through like what farming looked like in the beginning and what it looks like now.
Yeah. So naturally, I enjoyed socializing when I moved here. So we created all these groups. So we were already in bunco groups, book clubs, prayer groups. We were already in Marlo and I both were already she had a podcast for the neighborhood. We already had these things that were really giving value and getting people to know us as people before ever approaching them about this is what we do. So that opened up because our thought was, how do we use our spear smarter? Well, a lot of our spear is right here in our neighborhood. Plus, we're in a big family neighborhood, so you're able to really connect. Your kids, who their people are. Their families are here. You're able to just really create these connections, and plus, it's so easy to give out we just did lottery tickets for St. Patrick's Day. Well, it's really easy to get 100 tickets and go through and deliver those to people who live around you. That's not difficult. And I think, too, in our hearts, we know that community is so important. And I think it's both so important. We joke about this all the time. Like, our cocktail hours are called fellowship. So fellowship
Yeah.
is so important to Marlo and I, and that is just truly just sitting and talking about nothing with people that we love and love
Mhm.
to be around is something we both are really good at. So we were like, how do we community saved us. Marlo and I met because we had COVID kindergartners. I didn't know her, but we were about to enter this world of COVID together. And I think community saved a bunch of us during COVID.
Mhm.
And it made us realize that that's an important part of our aspect. And I just can't fathom anyone would want to move in a neighborhood that didn't have community.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's what we try to build, whether you're going to use us, not use us, we're here, and we want you to trust us. So, it's been 4 years of farming,
Mhm.
and I think
Yeah.
this is sold probably around 30 to 35 homes in our neighborhood so far. We've sold several of them several times, so and some of them I never want to see again. Uh, but we've had a great. And what's funny is you get to knowledge 'cause in our neighborhood, there were several builders, so, like, we can walk in a home now and tell you who this builder was because 'cause we've seen all the other homes
Yeah.
around. So you just
Yeah.
become to get this expertise that nobody else can touch, because you live here.
It's pretty incredible. So, talk to me about do you even remember these stats? Like, so you've been farming 4 years, so, like, how many did you sell year 1, year 2, year 3, and we're coming into year 4?
Yeah, we're coming what are we, year 4? Year
Year
5?
4.
Well, 2020 we were so 2021 is when we started. Yes, year 5. So, I did not start farming the first year. So, we've been farming for 4 years, so me and Marley together have been farming for 3. I don't remember a lot of my stats. I just will never forget the first thing that I did was I ordered those cheesy, things that you can put on people's mailboxes that's like, "Hi, if you need to borrow a cup of sugar or you need professional advice, I'm your neighbor." And I would just order tons of them, just put them out all the time. And I'll never forget the first person who called me in the neighborhood. um, and asked me to sell her home. And I actually took her business from another agent. She didn't
Mhm.
ask for it. She called me. But again, it's just the value of people knowing you're like close by. And also, I think it's showing people that you can add so much value other than just real estate. I can tell you so much about the schools around here. I can help you find where you can fit in. I can tell you what street to not live on and what street to live on. Um, I can tell you really inside info. Like we have someone that will list their home June 1st. And the reason we're listening, she was like, because no one told me when I moved in this neighborhood what this was gonna be like, because she's on a main road, and
Yeah.
she's like, "I hate it. I can't my kids, we can't ride." And so she came to us, she was like, "'Cause I needed someone that would have been honest with me to be like, 'Your kids cannot ride their bikes.' You're gonna have to get to a cul-de-sac." So you get real, and I don't and I'm very honest with people, and I'm honest with people how we price, because there's a difference in your location if you sit on a main street versus do you sit in a cul-de-sac. There's a difference in pricing there.
I like it. So you guys, I mean, you guys are crushing it with farming. So I like
Well,
anybody
thank
that needs, I think it's pretty impressive. So, okay, next question. So, like I said, you were already at 10 million in production plus when you got to coaching. So, and I think I already know the answer because it's sitting right behind you. But what specific system from coaching like changed your business once you implemented it? And so we've got sales pipeline board, top 50, safety nets, etc.
so definitely mine was the organization, like, which comes into the buyer and seller boards. I can't live without my buyer or seller board behind me, like, the big Post-its with the Post-it notes. They not only they remind me all the time of who I'm touching and talking to, but they also are just my inspiration as I begin, because I keep them when I close them, I keep them on that poster for the whole year because I want to see the number of Post-it notes we've closed. That I don't know, I enjoy that. But mine was just when I came to Marissa, I'll never forget. I sat down and I just was like, here's all the things I'm doing. But I don't feel like I have a way that I feel super organized, so, like, someone could fall through the cracks and I have no idea. Um, and we wouldn't have been able to sustain our growth had we not had systems in place, because we were, probably dropping people back when we were 10 million. We would have definitely dropped people if we had been at 30 million. We had to find out, how do we keep and talk about these people? And there's two people in the mix. So Marla and I had to really determine, one of us takes the lead on one, the other
Mhm.
person is in the back, to help with anything that you need, but one person has to be the lead on it so we know whose responsibility it is.
And
But yeah,
I mean, that's a huge bright line rules, right? Like, that's one of our things where it's like somebody owns it. It's their success, it's their failure, like, if you've got all this crisscross, it's like you
you don't
that
know
goes
whose
for
job it was.
TCs, business partners, whoever, cannot
Yeah.
do that. So, yep.
Yep. So we did a lot of email templates, which was really nice. So like we have templates that we both use that are exactly like, buyers, if you go under a contract, what goes to the attorney, sellers go under contracts. What is our weekly? So when we list, we give you weekly updates on Monday. How did you perform? So we just made a lot of systems that was
Yeah.
going to be able to make things easy to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Um, and Marlo's very good at much more savvy technology about things like that than I am, so that was really helpful because I'm a little older, so I struggled a little more with that. So it was really nice, and to be honest, people ask us all the time, we're very honest, they're like, "How do y'all split commissions? How do you do it?" We used to try to be like, "If it's your spear, it's this. If this," it was too complicated, and at the end of the day, we were like, our growth is that we both make a crap ton of money, and we both change our lives, so we just committed to each other. We don't talk about it. It's 50-50. We both give our heart and soul. We both complete our task. And we split things 50-50 and move on. Because at the end of the day, our goal is for us both to be successful, not just for one of us to be successful. And that philosophy has very much done great for us.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean, you
we
gotta show off
both
that pipeline
outperformed our
board.
husbands last year, which made them really jealous because
Wait, say that again?
we both outperformed our husbands last year.
Yeah, and your
And
both of
poor
your husbands
Marlo's
are not
husband is stuck
slouches.
in
Let's
the
just put it
dungeon working all the time, and
Yeah.
Really jealous.
he gets so mad when he comes upstairs and we're just sitting around talking, and we're like, "This is a listening appointment. Can we help
Yeah.
you?" So we do. We
Yeah.
have fun with what we do. I also think that was another thing I had to realize that I think when you're a new agent, you want to add your value so hard, but you actually are making things more complicated. Just be honest. If you don't know a question, be like, I'm gonna find out that answer for you. If you know, take ownership of it, but don't be afraid that you're human. You're gonna make some mistakes. You're gonna do things and own them. And I would much rather work with an agent who owns like, oh my gosh, I goofed up and didn't get that signed than someone who tries to lie to me about it or something.
So we
Um,
always our favorite script, the truth. People are
yeah.
always like, "What's the best script?" The truth. Say it.
Just
Say it how you need to say it.
just be honest, we're all agents, and at the end of the day, the real estate world is so small, um, and I think there used to be this whole big concept that when you were working with another agent on a deal, you had to be really tough and your job was to like be mean to that other agent so you could get your client the most. No, you get the number one goal is to get to the closing table. And really, if you can create relationships with other people on that other side, it is going to make a deal so much easier and so much better if you can just call Martha and be like, "Martha, now listen, you have requested $40,000. That is just absolutely bananas, and you have
Not
sent me
happening.
you have spent me some cheesy quotes that are very high priced. Let's chat through this and make up something we can get." And I think another thing, Marissa, now that we talk about this, another thing I really learned from you was to put on when to put on my masculine energy and when not to. So when to be like, thanks so much. Below our attached repairs, we're looking forward to moving forward. Let me know how we can help in the future. Like just that whole moving
Mhm.
into this is how we're going to do it was a big thing that I was able to realize it's not me being a bitch.
Mm-mm.
Because when I was in leadership in the school, sometimes when you had to put your masculine energy on, you became across as a bitch. But I think in the sales world, when I can do that, it just helps people know where the plan is going,
Yeah.
which brings me to another point. I think real estate is not difficult. You are truly helping people have a plan of how
Mhm.
to get from A to B. And you are their calm voice that goes, that's no problem. We can sell your home, find you a new one, and move you in and close on the same day. That's easy. I do it all the time. People just need that person that's going to walk them through. I really think we're like a tour guide for real estate. We just
Yeah, and I
guide.
was like say, like, treat them to the process,
Yeah,
right? They
it's
don't know the
easy.
process and the plan, treat them to it.
Yep.
Monday update it's like it's simple, not easy, right? Monday updates for your sellers, Friday updates for your buyers, and the visual I like when you were talking is, like, I listen to agents and I'm like, "Are you playing tug of war with people, or are you playing row, row, row the boat?" And I'm
There
like,
you
"I need you guys to stop playing tug of war and start playing row, row, row the boat. We're all going to the same direction, which is getting the property
'Cause
closed."
I have worked with some agents who I really wanna go, "How many deals have you ruined for your client?" Because you're trying to add value, but that means nothing. You're
Yeah.
trying to find problems, you're putting worries in their heads that are not true. Your job as an agent needs to be look at that inspection and be able to tell people what's important and what's not, because that inspection report will make anyone think that home is falling apart. And
Yeah,
I
I mean,
always
just by the nature of it, like prepping people, it's like, "Hey, when we get this inspection report, if it's 40
yep,
pages, that's light.
that's
Most are
normal.
gonna be 65,"
Mhm,
you know,
and I
and
tell them all
prepping
the
that.
time, I said, if I said, "This is how my inspector really describes their job. If they were a plastic surgeon, they would tell Barbie she needed to be fixed, like, everything's wrong with her body,
I
okay?
love that.
They're gonna break everything down from all the way they're gonna tell you it's an electrical problem when really it was your light bulb that was burned out.
Yeah.
So because they can't touch the light bulb to see if it was the light bulb, so they're gonna go electrical. So you've got to be that first person. That's why I don't generally even let my folks come to inspections. Um, I get it first. I breathe through it. I can pick out the things that are safety, big ticket items I can easily pick out, and you'll get used to that the more you're
Mhm.
in it and doing it. And that's why I like to do my inspections myself versus a TC because now I've grown to know what is important and what's not important. And then my inspector, we do a call with my clients. And I've got a good relationship with my inspectors where, like, you're able to really, hey, this is what's really the big problem and what we need money for. And these other things we're not going to ask for because they're pennies.
Well,
Um,
even when you're talking to, it's like, get the actual prices, because if you don't have the prices, you're just negotiating emotions, and people
yeah.
will think, that he'll hear crawl space and their brain goes to 20 grand, and you're like, actually, that's a $500 vapor barrier and some caulk. Like,
Yes. And sometimes it's like, hey, I'm not going to enhance your crawl space either. We'll vapor bury it, but we're not going to like give you this
we're not going to seal it,
$20
and
upgrade, right?
yeah,
I mean, you got to realize what they're asking. Now, if there's a problem, there should be fixed. And that's another, I think, too. I tell before we list, like, we, when we go through homes, when you take buyers through homes, I'm not going to ask in that inspection for things that I can tell right away. So you can read the labels on an HVAC. You can read a water heater. You can look inside crawl spaces. You can look at roofs. Like, you can look in attic spaces. You're knowing those particular things. But like, those are the things you're going to be able to give your client before. And then when it comes back through inspection time, we've made our offer based on that. So I'm not going to be asking for an HVAC because I've told you at the very beginning this HVAC was from 1997. We knew that. And I think that's important that people have honest conversations and don't just
yeah,
be like, oh, we'll get some money back during DD. It shouldn't work that way. DD should be about things that you found that people didn't know,
did
that you
not
couldn't
see. Yeah,
see with your bare
yeah,
eye, right? But
I
if I
agree.
could see it, that was my job as your agent to point it out and factor that into what your pricing was.
Yeah. Mary, I couldn't agree more. And I'm like, please change the light bulbs. Please label the electrical panel. Please pick up the insulation in the attic and the crawl. There's such simple little things, like get the HVAC tuned up.
Simple things, yes.
But you got to, okay, turn that camera around and show off that pipeline board, because that thing is incredible. And tell me, what are you guys projecting for 2026? What do you think? And what have you done so far in 2026?
Hold
You got
on,
to
this
tell
is
me.
gonna be the hard part. Can we turn it around? How do we turn it around,
Get,
Marlo?
get Marlo to help you turn it.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, no, hers is weird. Hold on.
I guess you just turn the computer around to it.
Yeah, we're just gonna
I'm
have
gonna
to
have to
flip.
I'm gonna have to read it backwards, I guess. Is that bad? Sorry,
No,
guys.
I can see it.
Okay. All right. So we have our seller side. So we started our referrals up here. Like I told you last year, I only had one referral. Now we have four already. One's already closed. Um, which I think also is referrals will grow as more people trust you stay in the industry. So up here's our closing. So on them, we write the address, the price, the due diligence, earnest dates, and all the dates we need to know and how we found them. Due diligence and repair request. We have got lots of people, and we don't know if we're buyer or seller heavy. We have no idea until the people come. Like last year, we ended up being pretty equal, 18 buyers, 15 sellers, but definitely this year we're very seller heavy right now. Staging and prepping, we also have really increased the off market. So we've done, did I say seven? Which really it would come out, no, eight. We've done four deals where Marlo and I were, four deals this year where we did it off market. So she's the buyer agent, I'm the listing agent, or flip flop, whatever. We charge 1.5% each. So together we can save our neighborhood clients like 3%. And that's when we'll bring you the buyer. These are all our qualifying people. And so Marlo has this in a beautiful online way, but every Monday I'll take a picture and we'll sit and talk about it and she'll pull up her electronic version. Um,
A lot of fun.
My parents are elementary school teachers for like 30 plus years, so
we'll
I'm team
write
analog
that
over
in.
here.
Got colored markers. You get smelly markers when you do it. All right, the closings up here. We got three people, buyers and DD. We've got five over here looking, lots qualifying. So yeah, and I think
But
just
people want to know, this is probably a 40, $50 million pipeline that we're looking at right now, just for people.
We should be.
We'll be at a little over 20 million by the end of April. We're
Yeah.
projecting 40. I mean, we're projecting 40 million for the year. I think when we were running our pipeline in December, we were, for whatever we had in the pipeline, we were projecting about 30 million. And we thought, okay, great. If we could do half of it, of what we
Yeah.
know, that'll be great. That's 15 million to start the year off. So by the beginning of Q2, we'll be at 20 million in sales with 4 new listings coming up between April and June.
And
Phenomenal.
well, our cap starts over April 1st.
Yeah.
But and I'll show you, this is my other thing I put over here. This is my husband's board, cuz we don't know what we're going to make, so we need to know what our paychecks are going to be. So this is helpful because like I know, and you can see a lot some marks out and moves around. So you know what your monthly paychecks are going to be. So like what
Yes,
I love
very
is we
important.
have a monthly paycheck out to July right now. Which makes us, it makes you just exhale a little when you get a couple
Yeah.
months ahead, but at the
Yes.
same time, that helps me and I get rejuvenated, but also I have done our numbers and figured out our cap, and we should be able to cap now less than 30 days, both of us.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I mean, you guys make my little coach heart so happy because it's
we
like,
kept last year, I think in 60 days, which I did last year. I did a post and it was like, it took me like 7 months the time before. Then after being with EXP and you I was able to cut it down to 60. And so now I'm in 2 years with you. And now we're going to do it in less than 30.
so I'm
And
so proud of you guys.
yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like,
Yeah, I was 90 days.
yep.
Last year, I didn't cap till June.
So she was nice. So for both of us to be able to cap, I mean, it makes my day. So we know like starting actually the end of April will be 100% all the way for a year.
Yeah.
That- So then we're just on to iconing.
Yes, which is soon. We get to celebrate that soon.
We do. We icon tomorrow. So yep.
Yay! Okay, we'll do it. We'll do a celebration for that.
Yes,
Such a
yes.
big deal.
We're
Okay,
excited.
give me your day to day, right? So what's your schedule look like? Just so you guys are
So
huge
we have a shared
producers. What
yeah,
do you
we
what do
have
you
a
do?
shared calendar. So we write we have one so we know what each other's doing. It really depends on what calls that week. Like, I mean, yesterday we had a lady that wanted us to list her home, and Marlo's like, I can be there at 11:30. I was at the lake looking at another property we had. So she gets over there. Today, after we finish this, we have a listing that we're going to have coming soon. So we got to finish that. We've got another listing appointment from a referral we got. We have a call with our marketing company to update our marketing stories. We got a DD we're waiting to see if it's going to bust or not. So we're, I think probably my clients are probably hammered by 11:44 now. It's been a nervous
Stressed out.
wreck. God, it's been a nervous wreck. But again, and that's what you also think about that too, because they are going to be nervous Nellies. If you're nervous with them, or you show your nervousness with them, it makes it worse. You've got to be that voice that continuously, and this is what we tell people all the time. I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, I wish I did, and I could tell you. But what I do know is everything's going to work the way it needs to work. It always does. And I've been through enough offers to know there's nothing crazy we can't figure out. So just know, no matter what happens, we will be here with you. And we are always ready to pivot if needed. And people just need that security. You'll find some people who you'll have to talk to all the time.
That's what that's the lead in command, calm and
Yeah.
de-escalate, and that flow between the masculine and the feminine energy. So yeah.
Because if
I mean,
you start pacing and going, like, I really don't know. These people are contingent. Their home hasn't sold. But my people are protected. They're going to walk away with 7,000 in diligence. And if we have to go back on the market, we go back on. They have enough money to pay their mortgage and continue on this journey. But worrying or stressing with them will That is not your job. Remember, you're the tour guide. Like the tour guide, can't get nervous when he sees the snakes. He's supposed to hold the snake, and show you and teach you about it. You've got to be that way too. You've got to be there constant in the storm. And I tell my clients all the time, and I'll send them that gift of someone riding the emoji or riding the roller coaster up and down. When things go crazy, I'm like, don't ride the real
Yep.
estate roller coaster. It will stress you out. Just know that at the end of the day, everything works out the way that it does, and that's the perfect way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
wanted to circle back to your question though, Marissa, about the day to day and something that I think is important. Okay,
Oh,
hopefully.
gee.
Hello, everyone. Something I think that's important is to know what times of day you are most productive. So I do really well in the morning hours. So like from 8 to 10 is my knockout, my sort of paperwork, whatever we kind of needed to do from the day before or whatever. I'm also not a put off till tomorrow what you could do today, but in the way my body operates that I want to knock all that stuff out first thing in the morning. I'm super productive. Mary is not a super productive morning worker, but
8 the morning.
but that's what we have a great little symbiotic relationship, right? Because by noon,
I thrive from 11 to 2.
Mary thrives at 11 too. But when I was in the corporate world, we really did make everybody take these quizzes on when you're most productive during your day. And we would strategically place people doing different jobs when they had this time. So if you need to be sitting and focused on, a really high priority project or a task and you're an 11 to 2, I'm not going to give you that. Don't
Right.
do that from 8 to 10. Check your emails from 8 to 10 and then do your high priority focus during this other time. So I think really sitting down and understanding where your productivity level
Right.
works best is super important when you're planning out your day, which we like to do, every Sunday or Monday. You plan out your week and then, whatever you kind of have to do, if you break it up into your chunks when you specifically are supposed to be the most productive and stick to that, you're going to be
Yeah.
way less stressed than flying by the seat of your pants. Of course, we've got to move things around as needed, but I think if you know when you're productive and not trying, I mean, Mary's not going to do well if she's got to be up at 8 o'clock in the
Not,
morning.
not.
Um,
She knows
Yeah,
not.
we're filming this at 11, or we started at 11.
Right, you're my thriving
she's,
time.
yeah,
I
Mary's
actually
doing
agree.
great.
Mary knows
I'm
this about me
shutting
too. I'm
down.
like,
I'm
11 is a
shutting
happy
down
time.
for the day.
Yeah.
You get us after 2, it's rough. We're gonna have to get a third
Yeah.
Third
partner.
person needs to take over after
Yeah,
2 o'clock.
you guys
Yeah,
need a night shift person.
we
Oh,
do.
we
I
do.
do. I'm a late night owl, but when the kids get home, like from 2 to 5 or 6 is kind of chaos for us with the kids. So I'm a early morning and later at
Get it
night,
done.
and that has really actually worked really well
And I
for
think,
what we
Marlo, that's
needed.
part of it is like the identity stuff is like kind of like what changes about how you think and operate. Cause it's like you get into the business and people try to think that there's like this box for it. But I love that you just said it's like know when you thrive and lean
Yeah,
into that. That's
absolutely.
such brilliant advice and
I
so
just
simple.
Yeah, exactly. It just drives me crazy when we're trying to push anybody or everybody into a box that you don't fit into, and it's okay. And if you like to work from 10 to midnight and you can be productive and there's stuff that you can
Yep.
do it. I mean, Mary will be asleep.
I'll
But
see it at like 9 the next day.
Yeah. I'll see you around 11.
I'll
She
see you at
works at
11.
yeah, I'll see you about
And that's
11
the
when
other
I'm
let's
thriving.
talk to me about Beeb. So I see the soon to be third because this is also part of like you guys take her with you to listing appointments sometimes.
She she has just very recently stopped coming to most of our listing appointments with us, but she
She's a
came
little
to
mobile now.
she's a little mobile, but she came to
She likes me.
she came with me today to a listing. We poke around, we do everything together, but she's our little um I don't know, our secret sauce, I guess is what I call her. So when she's in our social media videos and stuff, she's gotten a lot of really positive traction, and this girlfriend of mine that lives in the Outer Banks is trying to get pregnant, and she showed our videos to her team while they were there and was like, when my baby comes in the future,
Yeah.
we're gonna take this model and do the same thing. I mean, I think luckily, the with our business being mostly sphere-based, people understand you have a baby, people understand
Yeah.
your mom, they're happy for her to come along. I don't think that it has really hindered us in any capacity. I think it's only improved, again, like, the relationships that we're building with people. People think that it's amazing that we're doing what we're doing with the little baby sidekick, and it is,
What she
yes.
Hi, peeps.
Yes,
She's
you're gonna
so
know all
cute.
about riparian rights before
She is.
you,
This child's been to more closings than anyone, just sits on the
Yeah.
table.
yeah,
But
she goes,
I love this because it's like you make this business what you want out of it, you know? And
yes,
it's like and you need, none of us do it alone, and I think that needs to be pointed out. Like, even if you're solo, it's like you still have your transaction coordinator, your lenders, so it's like, do it as a
yeah,
team and in community is very important.
Yeah.
yes.
Get a
I think
cute little baby, and that's get a hack, get a cute little baby and take her with you.
grab you a cute little baby. She's a
Yeah.
good, what are you, an accessory?
Uh-huh.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are.
So
My
cute.
time of fame.
It's my
Well,
time to
let me ask you guys this. So if somebody's listening and they're like, "Love these women. I love you, the two of you, the three of you, all of you. Think you're wonderful." Um, so if somebody's stuck at that 4 to 8 million in production, what do you think they're doing wrong? And like, what would you force them to do in the next 90 days to get their production up?
I think you have to add 3 new people to your sphere a week at minimum. So, you need to be at any and every event. I mean, we have gone to
We
when we
had
have been slow,
we had a
we
point
go
sheet.
yeah, the point
Yeah,
sheet,
the
getting
point
back
sheet
to
was real.
basics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
the
good.
money making activities and the
Correct.
yeah.
What's your income generating activity? Um, and so we did for probably a good year and a half when we first started, just to be accountable to each other. We had a point sheet and we had to have so many points.
Yeah.
And we
1
talked,
point for
yeah,
every text message, 2 points for every phone
Yep.
call.
you know,
If you go to an event, if you go to a lunch, if you get somebody's email, but you've gotta be adding 3 new people to your database a week, I think,
Okay.
to really step really could be more, but go to I mean, if you're a woman sorry, hello, she has a lot to say. Like, they have these, networking events that you can go to, these women's groups and things, go to them. Make a new contact, stay in touch with that person.
Okay.
Just
host open houses.
host open houses, whatever you've gotta do to meet new people, I think would be
Okay.
my
So Marlo, you're they've gotta meet to get production up, they gotta meet 3 new people a day?
a week.
A week, excuse me. Okay, 3 for a week. And Mary, what about you? What is your prescription to somebody in the next 90 days?
Think for that, I also think there's value in building your brand. Like there's value in making people I'm big on people have to see that you're successful. So we have all these social media things and they need to see I don't want to just see you doing videos walking through a house, all cool and things. I want to see like are you winning stuff? Are you giving stuff? What is the value you're adding to me? What's the tip you're giving to me? Make people talk all the time. I have my name in my earring. The only reason I do this is because you won't forget my name that way. And it's a great conversational starter. Can't tell you last week I was in the Dominican Republic, how many mortgage lenders just were oohed and awed by my earrings. You've got to trust your brand. You need to brand yourself, make yourself different. Um, think about you're a business owner. So what are you out there we do a video every week that we're telling you giving you valuable information that you can use. You've got to give people valuable information for free. They've got to know you and start showing up with other people. Start hosting with open houses with other people. Follow other successful people around. Ask them what they were doing. You do the same thing.
Yep. I love that. All right. When thinking about $10 million agent training, this is one of our second to last kind of thought and question is who is it for and who is it not for? And you have my full permission, you know how I am, and just who is the $10 million agent for and not for?
10 million agent is for people who want to put in the work. I sadly think that people think what we do is easy. If it's easy, that's because the agent's really good at it and has made it seem. Anyone that's good at something makes it seem like it's easy. So if you're going to sit in that class, then you need to do the work or get out. Don't show up the next day and haven't done what you were supposed to do. Do the work. It's not difficult. Um, so I guess for me, I would say don't do the class if you're gonna like half-ass do it. It's not going to give you a magic script. Most of it's pretty darn common sense. A lot of it is holding you accountable for being consistent in doing it because consistency is what most people lack in the world. Um, we jump from one shiny object to the next, So staying in your focus. So I think for me, it's somebody that's willing to say, I'm committed and I am ready to make it come hell or high water. So I will show up every day with my task done of what she told me to do. And I'm ready to be fed the next one. Your hunger for it. You got a hunger for it. Um, and so then Marlo, what do you think?
I mean, I totally agree. I think it's for anyone that wants to be able to expand their business and or when you've even made it, right? You still need to have that
Yeah.
accountability to yourself and make sure you're always checking off the boxes. And you can always be learning and growing and having that community of others and learning from the other people in the group, I think is always a positive
Yeah.
thing. So I think the only people it's really not for are the people that aren't ready to hustle.
Yeah.
Yep. That needs some I couldn't have said it better myself. So if you're listening and watching this and you feel it in you, like Mary had it in her. She knew she was built for more. So if that's resonating with you, love to have you in the group. I will link it in the description if you want to join. And just know it isn't for everyone. Like they said, it's like you have to want to work and you have to want to do it and stick with it. Right? Because
Yeah.
I'm always like, this is not a magic pill.
Yeah, you don't have to do it when you have time. There's a zero excuse. Zero excuse. Like all of us work hard jobs. All of us do a lot of stuff. We're all busy. So if you're taking the course and you're having to rewatch it because you're working during the day, that's it.
Yep.
Go ahead
We've
and
got
swallow it,
replays, right?
swallow it up,
Yep.
and hurry up and do it because you don't want to have to keep on living that way.
Exactly. I'm like, get the systems in place so then they're just
Yeah,
yours and they feel light. So, and then, okay, let me see if, and then you cannot prevent the harvest. Does that say it for me one more time?
the harvest cannot be prevented.
Okay, I'm gonna get the harvest
Flipping it,
cannot be the harvest cannot be prevented. All
harvest
right.
cannot be prevented.
Well,
Yes.
Mary and Marlo, you two are wonderful. Your production is inspiring. The way that you are mothers and wives and community members, it's like every time that I hear and see what you guys are doing, it's very inspiring to me and feels very like welcome and inclusive. And there's no surprise to your success from my position. And I know that it's just going to keep going and going and going.
Well,
Thank
thank you. We're
you.
so excited. I would show Marlo over here, but she's, breastfeeding, so I'm not gonna put her on the
I could do
like,
that.
"Keep it over here," and then I saw it, I was like, "Oh, sorry." Um, so anyway,
You
yes,
can do it with a baby though,
mhm,
ladies.
you
If
can.
anybody feels like can't,
It's a
please
no
reach out
excuse.
to me
Yeah,
too. I'm happy
she's
to
done.
and we're done. But, I think we each come with our own backgrounds in different things and different perspectives on why real estate is important or why our careers are important to us. And I just think the sky's the limit if you just kind of stay consistent and you want it and you're ready to hustle. So you can do it even with these little guys
And they're
and
so
get
cute.
and they're so cute.
All
Yes.
right. Mary and Marlo, ENT Realty, you two are inspiring, and thank you so much for being
Thank
on here. I know a
you.
lot of people
Thanks
get
for
value.
having us.
Say
Yeah, I'll
bye.
see you soon.
Alright, bye.
Bye.